Hey, what's up guys? It's Apollo here. Hope you guys are doing well, and today we are playing Medieval Kingdoms Total War 1212 AD. This is the Great Siege of Orléans. So this, of course, took place during the 100 Years' War. The year is 1429, and we have French and Scottish forces surrounding the settlement, which, of course, is controlled by the English. And this siege has been underway for 6 months. That's half a year, in case you didn't know. And the English defenses are doing very well. They are holding, and it just seems like the French are not going to be able to take this very strategic, very important city. So the English are looking pretty good, but the prophecy arrives. We have a lovely lady in a full suit of armor. Her name, that's right, is Joan of Arc. 9 days after her arrival, the French are able to take the city and are victorious. So Joan of Arc, a very inspiring character. So glad they added her to the game. Now, I do want to make one thing clear. In my last 1212 video, I mentioned that she was a mascot. A lot of people got upset with that and called me a misogynist. That's okay, but it's history. That's how it is. On the battlefield, she did not participate in active combat. She was a mascot. She ran around, kept the troops inspired. That doesn't mean she was just some bimbo on a horse wearing armor. She did a lot for her people and her kingdom, diplomacy-wise and strategy-wise. And she still put her life on the line. Even though she wasn't fighting in active combat, she was near the front line. She was in archer range. She eventually gets hit in the shoulder twice by arrows, not at the same time, but she gets wounded twice. In fact, in this battle, she gets shot in the shoulder with an arrow, which could have easily have killed her. And eventually, yes, she does get killed by her enemies. So she paid the ultimate sacrifice and did a lot for her kingdom. So I just want to mention that. But in fighting, like on the battlefield, she was a mascot. She wasn't in the front lines, fighting the English. But regardless, really inspiring, a very bizarre story on how she can speak to angels and she could speak to God. And the French at this time were pretty desperate for any kind of, a hero, and she was that hero. And some experts say that she had epilepsy and she was schizophrenic, which would not be surprising. Usually when someone claims they can hear voices, it's usually a good sign of them being, suffering from, or them being schizophrenic, which is not, like, there's a lot of people who have it. In fact, I have a friend who suffers from that disability, and it's harmless. Most cases, it's harmless. One time, she said she saw, like, dancing elephants on her wall, which it sounds terrifying, but most cases you can take medicine and it helps out a lot. Some cases it doesn't help. Some cases it is really bad, where you hear like demon voices that make you want to kill people. That's a rare case, but a lot of people have functioning, they're functioning schizophrenic. So that could be a case where she legit was schizophrenic and had seizures, and people thought she was communicating with God. But whatever the case, it helped. Even if she had a disability, it helped her kingdom, and it was truly crazy story. All right, so enough of that. Let's talk about the battle here. So this is a 2 versus 2 online battle. Of course, it's a siege battle. The escalation is on level 1 because it has been 6 months. So of course, their walls are going to be a little bit weaker and their towers are going to be down. You can see there's a couple assaults here. You can see some burnt up people. That looks pretty brutal. So yeah, there's definitely some attempts to take the city. But this is going to be it, guys. The final attempt. Hopefully, history will stay the same and history will not change as the French try to take their city back. All right, so let's look at the army comps and get started here. I am dividing my forces in 2 parts. I have a small diversion force that's going to cross this land bridge and attack the bridge over on this side. Just a little, diversion to keep some of the English troops defending that side. So my army is mostly consisting of sergeants. I also have a spear unit with some long spears. They're called I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but basically it's a medium spear. It's a tier 1, so they're not great, but they have a really cool passive that gives the troops around them more morale, so that's really helpful. And then back here I am setting up more sergeants, and I have about 4 units a free company longbow, so I have some mercenary longbows, and they are going to be, I've got one unit going with the diversion force. The rest of the archers are with the main force. The rest of my infantry, here's a new unit, and I just want to remind you guys that they recently updated the mod. They've added a ton. It was a huge update, so make sure you have the latest update. But I have this unit called a Courser Footman. This guy has an eye patch, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it literally translates to, in English, flayer. I don't know if that, like, flayer of skin, like peeling people's skin off. I don't know, like, if that's like just a weird translation. But yeah, they're a heavy melee infantry, obviously a late period. Back here I do have the Scots Guard. Scotland's not quite in the mod yet, so representing Scotland, I am bringing the Scots Guard. And then back here I do have some free company longbows, more of them. I have some dismounted knights with a lot of chevrons. It's going to be one of my more elite units. And then over here I've got some footmen at arms, high period. So that's really the heart of my army. Lots of sergeants, footmen at arms. And back here, of course, Joan of Arc, and you can even see her banner, which is really cool. She has a lot of cool, like, general perks, and they're all morale boosters, which is really historical, you know, keeping the morale high. And then I've got more footmen at arms back here. I also have some men at arms on horseback, just in case the enemy charges out and I need to defend my archers or any vulnerable targets. Let's now move on to my allies army, which is UD Player, who's also commanding the French. He's also a YouTuber, so check him out. There's a link down below. He's bringing a lot of crossbows for his skirmishing force. He also has a couple units of Pavi Spearmen. Back here he has his general. It's a knight general. And then over for his infantry, here's his general unit. That was actually not his general unit. This is his general unit. It's the Count House Guard. And then for his infantry, he mostly has sergeants, and he also has that flayer unit. And I think he's also got some dismounted knights. And then over here, he's got some valets, which is like a cheap spear unit. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that one right. And then back here, he's got some levy infantry, which is a light polearm infantry, which is really cool. It's nice to see like lesser, you know, less skilled troops on the battlefield. He's also got some gunners, which it's nice to have some gunpowder. And that's pretty much it for his army. So let's now move on to the English, which I don't really know where one English army starts and the other begins. So I'm just going to look at them as a whole. Really, these armies are consisting of archers. Lots of archers, about 5 units for both teams. They've got longbow militia. And then, of course, we've got the yeoman archers, which are a little bit better. And then for infantry, he's bringing some spear militia. He's got some foot knightly retinue, the English king. He also has some English king sergeants, which you can see right here. Very cool. Love it. Just classic enemies, French versus English. He does have some Bill militia, which are holding strategic choke points. And then we got a lot of reserves back here. Foot knightly retinue. More and more sergeants from the English king. Great army here. More sergeants, but high period. And then way back here, he's got his reserve. So he's got some sergeants late period, footmen at arms. And I think that's pretty much it. Here's one of the generals. We also have a historic general, which is the Earl of Salisbury. So he actually died in the siege. So we'll see if that happens. Maybe he can save his life here. And then he's got a rear defense of heavy billmen. And actually more heavy billmen over here. And some cheap peasants, armed peasants, which are going to hold the bridge. So there you have it, guys. Let's go ahead and do normal speed. I believe this battle is starting very soon, so we're going to speed it up here. No need to cut forward, but yep, there we go. It's already starting. The siege towers are moving forward. So, and I also forgot to mention that the enemy has 2 mortars. So each player bringing 1 mortar. Mortars are nasty, guys. The best thing to do when fighting mortars, just don't clump up your troops. I know it's easier said than done. Well, actually, it's pretty easy. Just don't clump it up. Just don't do it. At times, you have to clump them up if you're like trying to attack a choke point. Just try to be extra careful and watch out for that mortar fire because you don't want to lose too much. The English infantry now ready to defend the walls once again against the French forces. And we have the archers who are now letting loose their arrows. They're focusing down the French crossbows who are using some of this, you know, the patch of trees here as a bit of a shield against these very deadly longbow militia forces. And I do have a bombard. I don't know if I showed you that, but I'm focusing down one of the walls. This wall right here, 80%. 80%, right? So this wall should come down very soon, right? No. my bombard keeps missing, and it's like one of the most frustrating things throughout this whole siege battle. You think one good hit on this like wooden wall here, you would think it would just go down so quickly, but I guess since there's a lot of dirt behind it, you know, it makes it a little bit more sturdy. So my great siege towers are getting closer and closer. Over on this side, look at this, very nice. We actually, oh nice, we got some walls coming down, it appears. He is now retreating his yeoman archers, moving up his spear militia, which again, spear militia are not very good, but with the support of the arrow towers, really, you're just throwing more bodies into the front line and hoping that you tire out the enemy, and then your more elite units can finish up the job. So yeah, UD players, siege towers getting extremely close. Again, the crossbows trying to soften up some of the defenses, and we have some peasants like, yeah, get out of here. I don't know why peasants would be there. You would think like the city very loyal to the French, even though it's not under their control. So you don't think the peasants of the city would be picking up their arms unless they were promised something from the English king or something. I don't know, whatever. So the gate is already knocked down. But I have my sergeants in shield wall. I'm not going to commit them in the fight just yet because this is just a death zone. There's no way I'm going to break through these English sergeants. So I'm just kind of waiting. I'm waiting and waiting. I'm going to rely on my siege towers to break through the defenses. And then once I soften them up, I'm then going to try to force my way up the gate. So here we go. UD player. Let's do a cinematic view. UD player is pushing through. The French forces are storming the walls. They're even storming this breach point, charging in the armed peasants first from UD player's armed peasants. And then we got more and more infantry doing battle for this. Just look at this. All the different medieval colors is beautiful. Oh, some dude just fell over. How did this guy fall over? Did you see that? That's goofy. But yeah, the French just slowly cutting their way through. Nice use of the arrow towers. Here's the bird's eye view of the fight. You got to overwhelm your enemies. And look at all the English defenders. This is going to be one grinding fight. And it is. The battle for the walls, it's like do or die. It's really important. It's just a crazy one in this fight. We do have some fire arrows firing in the background. More French heavy infantry once again trying to muscle their way through the defenses. And at this point of the battle, I was feeling pretty confident, and I was like, okay, my ally, he's attacking the walls very effectively. I'm sending over a ton of troops. It's only a matter of time until these the English forces crumble to the might of the French. But that's not the case, and you'll see why very soon. Finally, we knocked down this wall. It took forever. I do have forces in reserve. I've got my flares. I'm just going to call them flares. They are in range, and they're going to get ready to charge the breach point. So, again, I'm just trying to attack as many multiple points at this time. Here comes Joan of Arc coming over to inspire the troops that are fighting their hearts out, trying to take the walls. So there they go. Hold. Joan of Arc screams something like, come on, you can do it. Joan of Arc's down there. All these French, they're all white knighting right now for Joan of Arc. They can see her watching. They want to impress her. They want to kill some Englishmen for her. So they're definitely inspired. Let's head back over to UD player's side where he's able to break through. Look at this. My goodness. Breaking through. And now he's going to be able to storm the streets a little bit. But now he's also clumped up a little bit for the mortar and the archer fire. So he needs to keep moving. He needs to keep pushing. And eventually he is going to take this breach point because the English are slowly being pushed back. Over on the walls, though, it's still a little bit closer. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. You can see a lot of the soldiers probably mostly dying from arrow fire from those English longbows stationed up on the secondary defense. Alright, so unfortunately, I do have some units breaking. It's actually my bombard, which was constantly breaking and returning because of the enemy mortar. The defenders were using their mortar ammo on my bombard. So yeah, that wasn't too good of a situation. So yeah, once again, I'm just kind of waiting here, not going in just yet. I want to try to surprise them a little bit. with this infantry charge. You notice that he's sending most of his infantry to this side. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up a diversion where he commits most of his infantry and then leaves this open for attack. So yeah, it's down 100%. You can see I've got some of my cav in position. I was going to use my cav very aggressively here. So like once I felt like it was a good time to strike, I was going to charge in the men-at-arms and try to cut down some of these archers. Because again, he doesn't really have infantry here waiting for me. The troops in the center are starting to break because they've just been sitting here. I've got them in shield wall, which kind of helps them against arrows. But yeah, even my enemy, my opponent was like, Paulo, you got some troops that are not charging in. I'm like, I know, man. They're just not ready to go in. Oh, God. Oh, did you hear the choking on blood? Just an awful situation for these guys. Rest in peace. I don't want to be you guys, that's for sure. Back here, I was just so amazed by how long these retinue, the English, what are they called? God, whatever. What is their names? The knightly retinue, whatever. English knightly retinue. They were holding for so long against my French knights. I was so frustrated. So very much frustrated. Alright, so look at this. The French, or I'm sorry, the English, able to reclaim this breach point, pushing back UD player. So again, it's been just an epic struggle for these walls. A very difficult situation for us because I assumed that they would crumble as soon as we attack the walls, but that's not the case for these guys. Not the case whatsoever. Alright, let's head back over to my side. I do have my archers pushed up. You can see they're in loose formation, just firing at the archers in reserve for the English. I'm now pushing up my cav. I was going to go for a cav charge, but then I noticed that he had infantry that are now charging down the breach point. We got an epic fight for this breach, and it was actually pretty wise for my English opponent to actually charge down the slope a little bit, because now that gives him the high ground against my flares, my heavy infantry. So he's doing a very good job there. And again, buying time for his longbow militia to continue to spray down arrows on my position. All right, let's do slow motion here. Turn on the mini-map. I don't know why that wasn't on. We can see that there's actually a sneaky force of cav. You can see some of them left over here, but really most of the cav have committed to the fight. UD player having to send in his general to try to contain this cav. This is a classic medieval kingdom strategy of having a sneaky force waiting to strike, waiting for your opponent to be so focused on the front line on the walls that they don't realize that you're charging over a bunch of heavy shock cav to run down their archers that are in a very vulnerable position. So I'm trying to quickly send over my cav to try to support my allies' army. So yeah, here comes my men-at-arms. You can see it's not exactly the best cav for the English. Oh, you can see them back there running. What kind of units are they? Got mounted sergeants and, yeah, mounted sergeants. So they're not exactly the greatest unit, but unfortunately they do actually attack his artillery. So I need to quickly send over this cav unit. Come on. Fast, Apollo. And I make a very unfortunate mistake. I send them over, but I'm microing on the other parts of the battlefield. So they're just kind of sitting here, not really paying attention. So thankfully the English knights actually get close enough to attack some of my knights. But yeah, I didn't really do much for my ally there. It just kind of showed up and was like, you got it, you can do it. Here's the charge, there we go. So I'm kind of saving some of his crossbows, so that's good. Here comes the other cav unit as reinforcements. Alright, so let's head back over to the center line where I'm finally committing forces to the gate. I realize that I can't really sit back any longer. Oh, look at this, look at the dude with the colors, the flag going in, doing some stabby. Oh, it's just chaos, madness going on at this gate. Thankfully, the oil is not operating, so I didn't lose any troops to oil, which is good. And then, of course, we're still fighting this way, but my men do outmatch his sergeants. And his sergeants are shaken, so they could break any moment now. But if we can break through this is going to be huge for our, the French assault, because then we're going to be able to flank around and cause some issues for the rest of the defenses. So, you know, as soon as one part crumbles, the entire defense crumbles. That's why most players, once they realize they're getting overwhelmed on the walls, they just fall back because they can't continue to fight for these walls or they're going to lose their army. So they have to fall back to more defensive positions. But we do have some breakage here. You can see I've actually finally broken through the brave English knights who are holding this side of the wall. So now we're closing in on the gate. This is really good because my men fighting at the gate desperately need the support. So let's slow-mo it again. I really like doing slow-mo. Let's get rid of the HUD too. We'll zoom in on some of the fighting here. It's a bloody front line for the gates, and the English are not going to just hand it over. They're going to continue to send reinforcements. Over on this side, let's see what's going on. I actually sent over some of my sergeants who were able to sneak around the English defenses, and the English are starting to crumble at the breach point. You can see, unfortunately, UD player is still struggling here to try to take this wall, but it's looking good because of the fact that we were able to break through. Now I'm sending these sergeants over to attack the archers. So there they go. Yes, kill the archers. Archers can really rack up a lot of kills, especially in siege battles because they have like all day to use up their ammo. So it's always a good target to go after with heavy infantry, especially with your cav. More arrows coming in from the English. They don't care about friendly fire. That's fine. And I'm actually going to ignore these archers because I felt like there's a more important target here of English knights. And I felt like if we broke through this, then the floodgates can open and the rest of the French reinforcements can just flood into the street and cause the rest of the French infantry to break. So here's the charge, supporting this epic fight for the walls. And hopefully we can take it and support UD player and cut down these English knights. So it's a pretty gruesome fight for the front line. Let's head over to the other side where the English are now starting to waver. You can see there's some wavering going on here and back here from his Bill militia. But what do you expect? They're militia. So things are looking pretty good. But at this point of the fight, I've lost a lot of good men. And I'm still struggling for this breach point. Still trying to take it. Now, I've slowly but surely pushed them back. I'm now on top of the hill or sharing the hill with them. So it's looking good. Again, I outmatched them. But, oh man, I was so desperately waiting for these guys to break so I could send over more support over at the gate because, look, we still have not taken the gate. We pushed through, and we're now attacking the infantry on the walls, but it hasn't been completely cleared yet. And these arrow towers, as long as they're still alive and they're firing, they're going to get tons of kills and destroy the morale of my army. So I actually have Joan of Arc back here. You can notice her, I guess this was the moment where she took an arrow to the shoulder and she had to retreat and get the arrow out. So she's fallen back because she was getting harassed from enemy archer fire. So let's head back here where there's actually a mix of breaking. And I'm now sending over some of my knights over into the streets. Now that I realize that there's a path this way, I noticed that there's some, oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. Let's get a cinematic view. My knights are moving in. I noticed that there's some archers out of position, so we're gonna chew them up. We're gonna trample them down and get revenge for all the fallen comrades that they've killed from afar. You know, cowards using their bows. How dare they use technology to kill our forces? That's right. I would have done the same. Alright, so let's exit out of there. Just doing some cycle charges. We do kill a lot there. Look at that. Yeah, we trampled over a lot. Not really taking a lot of casualties. We're going to move on to the next unit here. So he's got archer. Or what are they doing? I guess I'm reforming. There they go. They're breaking. And now we're going to attack. What are we going to attack? Wait. Oh, yeah. We're killing a bunch of knights. What the heck? That's strange. I swear, I remembered that there's English infantry, like, holding this point, and I actually charged the back of them, but the replay, it showed me just charging the back of my own men, which is not good. That's telling me that this replay desynced. But other than that, it's not different. It's not that much different. So anyways, we'll move on to my infantry still trying to kill the English knights here. So once again, I've lost a lot of great infantry. I still have a couple fresh troops like my dismounted knights. I'm saving them for the final push. And back here, the English, look at it. We got an ocean of blue that are just surrounding the English. The English are just trying to hold us back. But their numbers are you know, they're slowly getting chipped away. And finally, after a brutal fight, we're taking the outer walls. Also, I want to mention there's a bit of a fight for the bridge as well. You can see the... This is nasty. I really regret setting over this diversion force because the mortar, they just, I mean, this is a perfect spot for the mortar, and it just chewed up my infantry. Look at the arrow towers just breaking my men. Really, the most effective unit right here is my archer unit. That are just, where are they? They're right here, firing and just trying to kill as many from far away. But yeah, this has been a disaster over here. I lost too many good men. I should have just kept my army together as one instead of dividing them like this, because this is just too easy of a choke point. Look at this. All mostly Frenchmen fallen, dead from arrows, infantry. Not a good sight. Not a good sight indeed. Finally, we're breaking through. We do have a unit hidden of sergeants. I didn't see these guys. I was actually quite surprised by them. So the footmen, they're going to go in and fight. I'm going to send in another unit of footmen. So this is actually a pretty good deal for the English, because they have the arrow tower support. And they're actually going to fall back to the tower, which is not that bad of an idea because they have a slight slope. They are breaking, though, which is good because... Oh, wait, they broke. They instantly broke there. A unit of 88. Okay, that's pretty good. So it must have been because the rest of the other army, you know, the rest of the forces are breaking on the front line. So now I'm going to send up my infantry and capture this. There we go. We can see the French flag slowly going up, trying to silence that arrow tower so it stops shooting at my own men. And we're now closing in at the courtyard. So I even like the fact that England, not only did they fight for the walls, they're also fighting for the inner streets. Instead of automatically retreating to the town center, they're putting up a very noble stand against our French forces. So hats off to them. I definitely got to, you know, you got to give your enemy credit every once in a while. So there you have it. That's what I'm going to do. So now I'm sending over some men at arms. I still have some fresh infantry that haven't seen any combat yet. So they're going to now try to break through the other side of the courtyard, trying to attack on multiple fronts as possible, or as many fronts as possible. There goes the charge. Vive la France! Oh, wait. Oh, they stopped. They stopped. There they go. They're like, wait a second. Never mind. Let's just keep fighting. So that's good. So we're taking on the footmen at arms. So the good news is that we actually broke... Well, actually, we were breaking these sergeants. They're shaken but not stirred. And they're still fighting against my footmen at arms. He's got his inner defense ready to go. And of course, he's got his archers back here. I do have some of my archers. You can see them way back there. This is Joan of Arc running by. But you can see my archers back there firing down, trying to get some good shots on these yeoman archers. Because again, this siege battles like this, extremely important that you keep the archers alive. And they're so important late game because you got to really destroy the forces. You got to destroy the remaining defending forces is what I meant to say. Because they'll be out in the open, like it's really tough to send up infantry and attack these choke points, but since they don't really have a lot of protection against arrows, this point right here is going to be where it's so important to use your arrows. So I have some cav, just trying to look for more opportunities to strike the enemy. So I was thinking about charging over my cav, and I think I changed my mind, so I'm not gonna do that. My ally still has a ton of infantry. They haven't seen a single second of action, so that's really good to see because my army at this point is looking really rough, guys. I've lost most of it, and now we broke through the courtyard, and we're now attacking the footmen at arms, who are fleeing for their lives, trying to get out of there. Look at this is a blobbing that I should have not done. The enemy archers, this is just a ripe target, like a fresh fruit hanging from a tree, ready to be picked. That's what's happening right here. Nice, just think of a nice Florida orange, juicy and sweet. That's what they got right here. I'm even sending in my Scots Guard, which have spears, which is cool, instead of just like swords. going in with spears. And now we're charging on to the next layer of defense, ready to take this settlement. The balance of power is actually looking pretty good. We outnumber them by about 2,000 troops, a little less, I believe. So it's a pretty big difference, but anything could happen, especially with my army because they're very depleted, and I'm sending in archers into melee, which is a concerning sign. My ally is sending up some Pavi spears to support me. I'm actually now falling back some of my infantry, as you can tell. Got my men-at-arms falling back because I don't want to send too much, at one time. And now UD player, he's now sending up what's left of his infantry. Okay, where is this? I believe we killed the enemy general. He tried to charge in his general to attack the archers, the crossbows of UD player. We missed it, but you can see the aftermath right here. So yeah, the general is dead. One of their generals are dead. That's a really good sign right there. So we'll go back to this main fight. So it's a pretty epic struggle. Let's head back over to the bridge where we were able to push through. Look at this. I was able to send up some men. I'm now trying to capture the arrow towers so they stop firing at us. But at what cost? I didn't truly capture it. It was more like we were pushing them on the other side, so they had to fall back their reserves. They couldn't hold on to this position any longer. So, yeah. I mean, this is the troops they had over there that have fallen back. Now defending the back flank. UD player going for a charge with his knights, trying to break through these heavy billmen. But, yeah, it's not really the best idea to charge against, pole arms and whatnot with cav. It's going to be a tough situation. So more and more of my infantry still just struggling for the center line. This is like the epic moment. If the English can... Look at this officer. Look at that. Nice uniform there. I appreciate that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, not a good deal here. UD player, he's sending in his forces on this side. So we're now attacking on multiple fronts. But look at this. I sent over my cav, getting a really good charge against these foot men-at-arms. And I'm not going to stay in prolonged melee. I'm going to fall back so I can continue and do it again. Get another cycle charge. And what I was trying to do there is I'm trying to break through and just get around the defenders and try to attack them on multiple sides. But as of right now, the English are doing a good job of containing every flank and protecting the other flanks that are holding up in close combat. Get it! I love this mod, man. Just the uniforms, the armor. Awesome. And now we got the general. My allies' general getting close. Whoa, what's going on there? Did you see that? That was awesome. That's trippy, man. Really trippy. But the sergeant's late period, they've got great armor, great weapons, so they're going to be holding for a very long time. I actually sent up some of my dismounted knights to support my ally in this struggle. And over on this side, we're going to continuing to do cycle charges. I've done a lot of damage to this unit. I've killed about, let's see, I've killed about 40 of them. Or no, 50 of them. So that's a pretty large amount. Let's head back here. I still have my general back here, just keeping her safe from enemy arrow fire. Oh, whoa. When they scream, it sounds like women. That's awesome. That's cool. But yeah, I'm keeping her out of sight from enemy arrows. That's for sure. Don't want to, I swear, if Joan of Arc dies. Oh, we were able to break through the flank, and now we're going after archers. Look at that. That was a huge moment in the battle because, again, this is an archer unit that has a lot of ammo left over. So if we can kill them, get them off the battlefield with most of their arrows still with them, that's going to be huge. That's going to be absolutely huge. So the reason I was able to sneak through is because some of his infantry actually fell back. They did a tactical retreat, and now it left an opening, and we are pushing back these English forces. So as long as we don't have a massive chain route, we have a chance. We've got a chance of winning this one. I love this camera mod. We're right in the front line of this very important fight. Now we got more levy infantry, just more bodies to send up to the front line. The very brave heavy billmen just fighting their hearts out against so many forces. And the fight here is still pretty much dead even. Just nobody wants to, nobody wants to give up. And it's actually looking pretty rough for our forces because we are so heavily outnumbered. But yeah, I've got a lot of my troops just in reserve because they're so depleted. Look at that, they're so tired. They're cheering, they're happy. They did their part. But now it's up to the rest of UD players' army to finish this this battle. Here comes a charge to reinforce the front line. That's going to be a big deal right there because now there's an opening. And what is this? Oh yeah, UD players sending up some spears. And quickly the English are going to send back that infantry they just committed. But I'm pretty sure the English can win this one. Oh, that was an epic charge. The English can win this one because they definitely outmatch these spears. There they go, they're falling back. Again, nothing really happening here. I didn't really have anything to attack here, so there's not much I could have done. And look at how timid the armies are. Just a lot of them are just breaking back in the back line. God, look at you, just a body of armor, an ocean of armor. So we're not too concerned about winning this side, We're just trying to keep them occupied as really the back flank pushes through. Here comes Joan of Arc now getting in position. I had to keep her back once again because I was afraid of their archers. And this is, let's see, what am I doing here? Just keeping them close. Oh, here comes the arrows, guys. Oh God, please don't die. Joan of Arc, are you holding a shield? It's like flower power. I don't know what she's doing, but she's in range of enemy archers, which is not good. Not good at all. Here's the great push. You can see the English lines are just so unorganized. Completely unorganized. Because we got spears in the back. We're attacking them on this side. We even have my allies general in the fight. I think that's my allies general. No, it might just be Cav. Yeah, so this is the point where I retreat Joan of Arc because she's getting harassed by arrows. Again, I don't want her to die. Not when the battle's so close to over. And who knows, like maybe if she dies, my entire French army breaks, which would be disaster. So you can see the icons. I'm mostly just sending in archer units. That's alright. A lot of them are sconce guards, so they're doing pretty good. Okay, Joan of Arc's coming back. Joan of Arc is coming back. What is she doing? I guess she's coming back to inspire the troops. Maybe I thought they used up all their arrows. I'm not really sure. Oh no, they're going to chase down. Yeah, they're chasing down this unit. So here we go. Joan of Arc changing history, getting some confirmed kills. So I went in with a little charge to make sure this English unit does not return because it is a pretty good English unit. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice there. I'm having some pretty awesome voice cracks. So what are we down to? About 2 minutes left in this battle replay, where the French are just muscling their way through the defenses of the English. The English are starting to break. They're now retreating forces over to this side, trying to send more and more reinforcements. Now UD player is sending over some reserves to attack the other side. He's got his gunners. He's got a lot of communal infantry. And he's, yeah, just mostly communal infantry. One's high period, and I guess one's early period. You can see the difference in armor. But this is it, guys, the final push. So look at this, though. He's actually breaking our forces here. Breaking our forces, but we were able to break through here, which is huge. We broke a lot of the English forces. They just couldn't take the numbers anymore. Here comes the footmen at arms who are cheering right next to the sergeants. They just want to cheer and just let them know. They're like, hey, you guys are trash. It's over. And the English are now falling back, preparing to hold the final stand, which of course is the town center. So the archers are they're gonna line up. He's got yeoman archers with a decent number of arrows. He's now sending up heavy billmen to hold against UD players' reinforcement force. There they go. They're gonna charge up. Let's see. Arrows coming down. Charge up that hill. Give them hell, boys. Into the fray one last time. Which I'm pretty sure King Henry V said, right? He's gonna take his time. Just keep these guys occupied. And it's actually brutally close here. I'm quite surprised that both our forces breaking like this. There we go, close to defeat. Okay, so the battle ends pretty much as close as you can to what really happened. I think it's pretty, well, based on my commentary in this video, a little strange because things were happening that didn't happen, but it wasn't drastic. It still ended pretty much the same way. So there was a bit of a desync. I think what happens whenever there's a desync is that there's been an update to the mod, you know, where it automatically downloaded something. So hopefully that's the case, but there was a bit of a desync where things didn't happen exactly and not in every case. I mean, the battle pretty much played out like it was. But yeah, it was a pretty tough victory. And there you have it. So history is not going to change, and the French will take Orléans. And is there no stats? There's no stats, guys. There you have it. Unfortunately, yeah, something weird's going on with this replay. So sorry about that, but hopefully you can enjoy this video for what it was. Thank you guys so much for watching. Great to have you with me once again. Always a treat to do these videos. I really enjoy them. So if you guys did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, a comment, share, and of course subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.